What's up, guys? So today I'm going to do another video on hypergamy, basically proving that women choose men for our money and ultimately settle down with us for our money. I forget the video, probably won't be able to find it, but I was looking on this MGTOW video, and like I said, I don't remember the name of it, but this guy posted these links and basically saying that science itself is, and these are science links, science itself basically is saying that there's a marriage shortage, or a shortage of marriable or marriageable men, and they're basing it on the fact that men are not making enough money for women. So basically they're tying in the marriageable or marryingable factor with a man's money. And this is something that has bothered me from day one, probably the most biggest issue that I have with women. I have far more of an issue with hypergamy and women wanting men for our money, more than women slutting around, more than single mothers, more than divorce, more than women doing all the nasty crazy shit they do. This is my personal number one pet peeve when it comes to the red pill, when it comes to the manosphere, interpersonal relationships between men and women, etc. This one by far kills all the other ones, by far beats out the other issues. So like I said, it's pretty simple. This is published September 5th, 2019 in phys.org. I don't know if that's physics. It looks to me to be physics.org. Apparently this is a science website. You see right there, nanotechnology, physics, earth, astronomy and space, technology, chemistry, biology, and other sciences. So this is a science website essentially acknowledging that unmarried women are facing a shortage of partners in the U.S. marriage market. Good old U.S., good old United States of capitalism. And this is what I've said from day one. Capitalism plus feminism produces whores, and we have a nation full of whores in one way or the other, whether they're doing porn, or they're sex workers, or they're cam girls, or they're literal prostitutes out on the street, or whether they're whoring themselves out to a man with the most resources for his hypergamy value. So let's get into this. One explanation for decline in marriage is a shortage of economically attractive men. Isn't that funny? Economically attractive men. Well, they know what women want. For unmarried women to marry. Indeed, a new study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family reveals a significant scarcity of such potential male spouses. This is what we've been boiled down to, guys, as far as quote-unquote marriage material. We've been boiled down to economically attractive or economically unattractive, and this is what women want, and I'm going to prove it later, showing you some texts from a girl that I was dating that supposedly loved me and chose another man for his resources over me. I'll prove that in a minute from a personal experience, but we see it all the time. We witness it and we experience it over and over again. So let's continue to read. The study's authors developed estimates of the socio-demographic characteristics of unmarried women's potential spouses who resemble the husbands of otherwise comparable married women. So they're comparing the husbands of married women to potential male spouses, and seeing how they compare and add up. These estimates were compared with the actual distribution of unmarried men at the national, state, and local levels. So we are being compartmentalized. Our value is being estimated and pigeonholed into our economic worth. That is your value as a man, guys, is your economic worth in the American in the American sphere of socioeconomic policy. Women's potential husbands had an average income that was about 58% higher than the actual unmarried men currently available to unmarried women. They also were 30% more likely to be employed and 19% more likely to have a college degree. There you have it, guys. That is what women consider marriage material. Your finances has nothing to do with your character, has nothing to do with your personality, has nothing to do with your heart, your person, your intellect. It's only about what you can produce financially. That's it. Your economic, our worth as a man is boiled down to economics. There you go. That's the proof. This is a science magazine or a science article from a science website with a legitimate study. There you go. How are you going to argue this? The researchers found that racial and ethnic minorities, especially black women, face serious shortages of potential marital partners. So I guess black men aren't making enough money for these black women, as do unmarried women with either low or high socioeconomic status. So what that tells you is that it doesn't matter how high or low an unmarried woman's socioeconomic status is, but it matters how high or low the male's socioeconomic standard is. So that proves what we've known all along. Women don't have to bring anything to the table. Men have to bring resources to the table. That is our worth. Most American women hope to marry, but current shortages of marriageable men, that is, men with a stable job and a good income, make this increasingly difficult. Oh, the whores can't find a John. That sucks. Sorry, ladies. Also, men are walking away from you because of shit like this. Sorry. Poor spinsters. Enjoy your cats. Stock up on cat food. Especially in the current gig does I say current gig? Yeah, current gig economy of I don't know what a gig economy is. In a current gig economy of unstable, low-paying service jobs. Well, blame the economy, ladies. They're not paying us enough to marry you. Oh well, guess you're gonna have to become cam girls. Guess you're gonna have to become e-whores. Guess you're gonna have to enjoy your cats. Invest in cat food. This guy's a PhD of Cornell University. Marriage is still based on love. No, it's not. But it also is fundamentally an economic transaction. That's what it is. It's a fundamentally economic transaction. It has nothing to do with love. So don't say it's based on love. Bullshit. These women are looking for love, quote unquote, but they're also wondering, what kind of job do you have? What can you give me for resources? That's not love, you ignorant fuck. Many young men today have little to bring to the marriage bargain, especially as young women's educational levels on average now exceed their male suitors. Oh, well, gee, why don't women take care of the bills then? Huh? If they're doing so well in college and making so much money, why don't they take care of the bills? Oh, because they still got that hypergamous DNA. That's why. You can be all phony and fake on the outward and talk about equality and all this bullshit. Go get college degrees, go get great careers. But when it boils down to your DNA, you still want the man with the most resources. Truth is not always the best. The truth is not always the happy thing. All right, here's another article. This is from Online Library, Wiley Online Library. I'm not sure what this is, but this was another article that he listed. This is called "Mismatches in the Marriage Market." First published September 4th, 2019. So this is current. This stuff these are relevant problems going on in our society, but they're also problems that expose our moral fabric. These guys are talking about socioeconomic issues. These guys are talking about marriage issues and these poor women who can't find men, but it really exposes the fact that we have no values. We have no real moral values. We have nothing on the inside. It's all outward, outward, outward. Abstract, objective. This article provides an assessment of whether unmarried women currently face demographic shortages of marital partners in the U.S. marriage market. Background. One explanation for the declines in marriage is the putative shortage of economically attractive partners for unmarried women to marry. Previous studies provide mixed results, but are usually focused narrowly on sex ratio imbalances rather than identifying shortages on the multiple socioeconomic characteristics that typically sort women and men into marriages. There you go. They're just admitting it. So they're saying usually it's based on, the ratio between men and women, but now they're throwing another equation or another variable into the equation, which is the socioeconomic characteristics that typically sort women and men into marriages. So they're saying, oh, we're gonna factor in finances to this whole equation and see if that changes things. Guess what? It does. This study identifies recent marriages from the 2008 to 2012 and 2013 to 2017 cumulative 5-year files of the American Community Survey. Data imputation. So this is 8 years of scientific study. Data imputation provides data imputation methods provide estimates of the socio-demographic characteristics of unmarried women's potential or synthetic spouses, which would be, the government, DSHS and welfare, etc., who resemble the husbands of otherwise comparable married men. These estimates are compared with the actual distribution of unmarried men at the national, state, and local area levels to identify marriage market imbalances. Results: these synthetic husbands have an average. Okay, I'm not sure what they mean by synthetic husbands. That's not the state, but anyway, sorry. Bear with me. These synthetic husbands have an average income that is about 58% higher than the actual unmarried men that are currently available to unmarried women. Okay, so I think synthetic husbands means like, what type of man a woman actually prefers to marry or would marry, and that hypothetical person has a 58% higher than income than actual unmarried men. So basically they're saying that unmarried men need to make 58% more income in order to get married, which is just fucked up and horrible. Okay, that are currently available to the unmarried women. They also have 30% more. They also are 30% more likely to be employed, 90% versus 70%, and 19% more likely to have a college degree, 30% versus 25%. Racial and ethnic minorities, especially black women, face serious shortages of potential marital partners, as do low socioeconomic status and high socioeconomic status unmarried women. So, whether they're low socioeconomic status or whether they're high socioeconomic status, and especially black women, they are all facing a harder time finding a man with a good college degree and a good employment, steady employment, and a high income, which are all marriageable aspects, according to these studies, which is essentially studying what women want to settle down with, both at the national and subnational levels. Conclusions. This study reveals large deficits in the supply of potential male spouses. You mean the potential male spouses who make money, right? Because there's a lot of potential male men out there who would love to fall in love and get married, but they just don't make enough money. Sorry. So she's going to have to keep riding the cock carousel and be single. One implication is that the unmarried may remain unmarried or marry less well-suited partners. Well, we know what's happening. They're not marrying less well-suited partners, or maybe they are, but they're taking what they can get, and they're certainly grabbing the man with the most resources that they can get, which is not love, which is going to result in a bad marriage, bad children. The family's not going to be wholesome. Probably going to get divorced. I mean, finances are a top 3 reason for divorce. Divorce is at 50+%. It's been that way for about 40 years, since about 1980, even, actually I'd say 50 years, between 1970, really. It's been about, the divorce rate's been between 50 and 60%. So 1 out of 2 marriages is going to fail. And they're saying the reason is because, and the reason these women can't find partners is because the guys don't make enough money. Although, even if they do make enough money, quote unquote, for the woman to, marry them, finances are still a top 3 reason for divorce. So women think that finances equals love. There you go. Science proves it. Now, with that said, let me finish out here with some texts. This is from my ex. She broke up with me because I didn't make enough money for her, essentially. And she moved in with another guy who did make more money, who had his own house. And she's proving the fact that she's choosing him because he makes more money. I'm just going to read the where the arrow's pointing, and the underlined part which says she's talking about the life that she would live with me if we got together and she left her current guy who has a house. She says, the one with you would be me having to defend why I am with the guy who did all that stuff to me a few years ago. That's not going to be easy to say, and I think I would lose family over it. I can't do that. So some stuff happened, and we had arguments, and she broke up with me, and she brought her family into it, and basically, they said I was a bad guy, and because, I didn't treat her right, which, of course, treating her right would be, having a good career and making a certain amount of money and, getting a house for her and taking care of her kid because she was a single mother. And I just did not offer her that. I simply offered her love, and that was it, which was really going against my own personal belief system because she had a kid and she was a slut, and it's a long story, but basically her family doesn't like me, and they like her new guy because he's able to provide for her financially better than I could, and he's more amiable to the family because obviously they like that he's able to provide for her and I couldn't, and they didn't like that her and I argued over finances and things like that. So she's saying he's a better bet as far as her family goes. So let's go on to the next one. The next one says, I don't know. I can't depend on you financially, though. What if something happens? I don't know if I can afford this on my own, plus rent and utilities and insurance and everything. I can't jump from one thing to another either. I would need time. I thought I love you, but I don't know. It might be physical, and that scares me too. I don't know. Did we talk much back then? We talk about God now, and that's it. I don't know. I can't do that. I'm sorry. That's definitely not true. We barely ever talked about God. So this is showing the fear of not having enough money is a major motivating factor in her decision to stay. So she's saying she can't depend on me financially, and she can depend on the guy she's with, so she's scared. She doesn't want to move, even though she claims she loves me. Now she's questioning everything, blah, 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 because she doesn't even know if we talked that much, which we did. So she doesn't remember all the times we spent. She doesn't remember all the bonds that we had and shared. She doesn't remember any of that. All she's thinking about is finances, which just shows what these girls want. So she says here, a little bit of context, a little bit of backstory here. She was going to move out, and she thought she could afford it, and then she realized she couldn't. And I told her I'd give her like $500 a month, stuff like that. But she didn't think that was enough, and it's just big mess. So she said, I saw my raise today after taxes, and I can't live on my own. I still have bills and student loans and daycare. I know I should have said this months ago. I tried to with the church thing a few times. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Church was never. That's just something that she threw in as an excuse. I go to church, and I told her it didn't matter. She didn't have to go to church with me. So it's like, but really, it's the finances. So it's another picture showing that money is a major motivating factor for her decision to stay with him. And then again, she just keeps talking about the money over and over again. I can't afford it. I'm trying to focus here. See my camera to focus. I can't afford it, and I can't count on you for it. What if we don't work out? So her saying I can't count on you for it. What if we don't work out? Indicates that she's looking for a provider, someone to pay her money as security in a relationship. She keeps saying it over and over again, so this is what she really means. So she says, I say, you don't like me? I don't make you happy? She said, I guess like you said yesterday, he is a safer bet. I say, okay, kinda. I mean, you're kind of admitting it. He has a job and a place and I don't. Is that so hard to say? Say it. And then she says, yeah. So she says, he is a safer bet. I say, he has a job and a place, a house. She says, yeah. Basically just confirming that that's why she's choosing him over me. I say, I want you to tell the truth. You supposedly love me, and I make you happy too. So the only difference is that he has a job. So I want to hear it from you. No more BS. Tell the truth. And she said, I just said, I don't know how to make it any less BS for you. So me asking her to clarify that it's because he has a job and I don't, that she's choosing him over me.